Newcastle United transfers, 8 players Benitez must sign this summer. Newcastle United have had a quiet transfer window thus far. Former loanee Christian Atsu become the club's first major acquisition on May 24, and Bar centre-back Florian Leung joined him earlier this week, signing for the Magpies in an £8.5 million deal. A solid start, but with other Premier League clubs currently throwing their money around with reckless abandon, Newcastle have some catching up to do. They are bringing a decent squad up from the Championship, but there are a number of notable holes in the first 11, and depth issues throughout the group. NUFC require several big signings to put their fans at ease ahead of a difficult campaign, but there's no need to panic just yet. The club's transfer business didn't really pick up until mid-July last year, and while Mike Ashley's reluctance to splash the cash is well known, there is still 5 weeks before kickoff. Rafa Benitez might be frustrated with the lack of activity thus far, but he still has time to address the squad's shortcomings. Let's take a look at the players he should be targeting to ensure Premier League survival. 8. Lewis Holtby. Lewis Holtby looked set to become a major Premier League star when Tottenham Hotspur signed him in 2013, but it didn't work out. The former German international struggled to make the grade at White Hart Lane, and was loaned to Fulham in 2014, where coach Felix Magath questioned his fighting spirit in their unsuccessful relegation battle. He returned to the Bundesliga with Hamburg for the 2014-15 campaign, and has been there ever since. Last season saw him start 29 games for the Sleeping Giants, and Holtby has recently been linked with a Premier League return, with Bournemouth seemingly set to rival Newcastle for his signature. Given that he's reportedly available for his £5 million, Holtby would be a smart pickup for the Magpies. He's by no means prolific, but Newcastle are desperately short of creativity in the middle when Jonjo Shelvey is out. Holtby is just as capable playing behind the striker as he is operating in a deeper role, making him a versatile squad rotation option for Rafa Benitez, who'll be looking to acquire at least 1 or 2 creators this summer. 7. Andreas Samaris. Newcastle lack a midfield destroyer. Isaac Hayden impressed last season, and seems to be developing at a steady pace, but he has never played in the Premier League. Throwing him straight into the 11 might be asking too much of the 22-year-old. He'll get plenty of game time next season, but will likely be rotated in and out. Jack Colback? Let's not go there. Greek international Andreas Samaris has been continually linked with Newcastle throughout the window. Everton recently had a bid of £14 million turned down for the Benfica man, whose club are holding out for £17 million. This would mean breaking the record £16.8 million that the Magpies paid for Michael Owen in 2006, but given how inflated transfer fees have become lately, this shouldn't make Samaris out of reach. The Greek destroyer is defined by his aggression and tough tackling, but struggled to break into Benfica's 11 last year. He made just 10 league starts throughout the campaign, and will almost certainly leave the club as a result. At 28 years old, and with multiple Champions League games to his name, Samaris brings plenty of experience to the table, and would be a complementary presence alongside the Cavalier shelf. 6. Callum Chambers. Middlesbrough endured a dismal 2016-17 campaign, but this had little to do with their backline, who conceded a respectable 53 goals across the season's 38 games. Not the most impressive record in the world, but had the club's attackers matched that level of performance, Borough would have likely found themselves in a safe mid-table position at the end of the campaign. Arsenal loanee Callum Chambers was a key component in this, and there's now talk that the 22-year-old could move on from the Emirates. He is set to be Arsenal's fifth-choice centre-back behind Laurent Koscielny, Rob Holding, Per Mertesacker, and Shkodran Mustafi, and with Everton and Southampton reportedly sniffing around, Newcastle should absolutely join the hunt. Chambers primarily played through the middle at Borough, though he was just as capable at right-back. Newcastle are short-handed in both positions, and still need to shore up their defensive solidity ahead of the Premier League campaign, despite Florian Lejeune's arrival. These factors should make Chambers a no-brainer, and if he is available at a decent fee, Benitez should be on the phone to Arsene Wenger as soon as possible. 5. Sam Larsson. The 2016-17 was a breakthrough campaign for Heerenveen Sam Larsson. The winger's excellent club form saw him make his international debut for Sweden in November, and he finished the season with 9 goals and 12 assists from 36 appearances on the left flank. Newcastle are crying out for another winger. Christian Atsu is a live wire, but best suited to an impact sub role. Rolando Aarons' fitness can't be trusted, and while Jon Guren could still sign a new deal, he has never looked like an effective Premier League wideman. Ideally, Rafa Benitez will be looking for a left-sided player who can match Matt Ritchie's production on the right, and Larsson fits the bill. Like the energetic Scotsman, Larsson works best as an inverted winger who cuts inside to open defenses up, before playing a killer ball or taking a shot on goal. He's very comfortable bombing down the wing and delivering crosses too, making him a three-dimensional player who can operate in a number of different roles. There's been no talk of a move away from the Eredivisie this summer, but Larsson seems to have the skills and work rate required to make it in England. 4. Gabriel Pires. Brazilian midfielder Gabriel Pires was first linked with Newcastle in the January transfer window, when a loan move was speculated. This obviously didn't materialize, but rumors resurfaced at the end of May, when the Leganés player was pegged as Benitez's first summer signing. Talk has cooled since then, but that doesn't necessarily mean the pursuit is over. Pires was a key figure in Leganés' survival campaign, notching 34 games in a number of different positions. He primarily operated as an attacking midfielder, but the former Juventus trainee can also play up front, on the left flank, or in a deeper midfield role. This versatility would be most welcome on Tyneside, and could make Pires a valuable utility man in the NUFC squad. Pires has a release clause of just £6 million written into his contract, and he is 23 years old. His best years are still ahead of him, and he caught the eye of many a pundit during his season with the La Liga strugglers. These factors suggest to be a smart signing, and while not necessarily a guaranteed starter, to be someone capable of filling in anywhere across the front six. 3. Javier Hernandez. Newcastle are in the market for a striker, and Manchester City's Kelechi Iheanacho would have represented an enticing option. The 20-year-old has fallen down the pecking order at the Etihad, but now looks set to sign for Leicester in a £25 million deal, where he'll likely continue his development as one of the league's most exciting attacking prospects. With the Nigerian gone, Bayer Leverkusen's Javier Hernandez should be the next man on the list. The prolific Mexican poacher is reportedly available for just £13 million this summer, and while he'll likely have better offers from clubs further up the pecking order, be an ambitious signing for Rafa Benitez's side. Chicharito has notched 28 goals and 54 league appearances for Bayer. His pace, intelligence, and ability to find space inside the box make him ideally suited to Rafa's preferred system, which always works best with a mobile centre-forward as the centerpiece. White Gale was incredibly prolific last season, but has just 13 career Premier League goals before. Hernandez would come with a proven track record at the very highest level, and would make an excellent starter or rotation option. 2. Jetro Willems. Back has been a problem position for Newcastle since Jose Enrique left for Liverpool in 2011. The Vide Santon played well in patches, but the Magpies have never been able to replace the Spaniard's consistency, and addressing this issue should be one of Rafa's biggest priorities. Dummett is perfectly average, but still looks like a startled infant when a skilled winger runs at him. Akraf Lazar hasn't made a mark, and Masadio Haidara is totally out of the picture. This group just isn't good enough, and Benitez should return to one of the club's old transfer targets in Jetro Willems. The PSV man came close to signing for NUC in summer 2015, but the deal fell through, and the Dutch international remained in the Eredivisie. Willems is a guaranteed starter, but there are some concerns over his long-term fitness, as he has suffered a series of knee and hamstring injuries since 2015. Regardless, Willems would represent a huge upgrade. As capable at the back as he is bombing forward, has best known for his passing ability in the opposition half, but has also built a reputation as a calm, composed defender who rarely flusters under pressure. 1. Pepe Reina. Newcastle have 5 senior goalkeepers on the books at the moment, but Benitez is still looking for another. Matt Sells has already left on loan. Freddie Woodman looks set to follow, and while Rob Elliott and Karl Darlow are both capable shot stoppers, they are too flawed to rely on at this level. Tim Krul is the group's standout, but after a middling season back in his native Netherlands, it doesn't look like Rafa trusts him as a starter. Several big-name keepers have been linked with a switch to Tyneside. Joe Hart is the latest, but with Manchester City reportedly demanding up to £20 million for the error-prone custodian, a move seems unlikely. Instead, NUC should focus their attention to Pepe Reina, whose Napoli future remains up in the air. The Spaniard might be 34, but he's exactly the kind of sweeper keeper that Rafa loves to employ. Few goalies are as comfortable with the ball at their feet, and Reina has always been renowned for his distribution, which takes a lot of pressure off the backline. Furthermore, he proved over 48 games last season that he's still a very capable player at the highest level, and given his history with Benitez at Liverpool, Signing Reina makes all the sense in the world.